Hey, good morning, people. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Yes, I just have part of my face showing. Yeah, this is early morning. Look, I didn't go out yet. And you know it's raining right now. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. And today is Monday. Hello, Monday morning here in Rwanda. Morning. And yes, my little dog, let me show you my little doggy. Yeah, that's my little baby. He's all curled up, having a good moment, quiet moment. Yes, so today is September 30th, 2024, and the time is about 7:30 a.m. Yeah, I'm just in my living room. I have my monitor on beside me. Yeah, I slept. Sometimes I like to sleep in the living room. And yeah, I have uh the monitor on watching videos. It's a bad habit. Bad habit, but I do it. I'm being honest. But yeah, everything good. I'm just relaxing here. Some days I like to just kind of chill out, just relax. Sometimes I go out a lot, and this time I just want to just stay at home and just regroup and everything. I went out yesterday, uh, my beautiful nature walk with Lavender, my little baby doggy. Uh, yeah, my fur baby. And but today I just want to take it easy. Um, and good thing I stayed in because it's raining right now. Interesting. Like I heard what sound like rain. As well, it sounds like it's raining outside. Sometimes when it rains, like the roof is like a metal and it makes a loud noise. The other times like you don't hear that loud clingy sound of the rain hitting the roof, but it's like a like in America how you would hear it. Just a subtle sound. Said, hey, let me check this out. So I opened the took a peek at uh the curtain. I saw it is raining. Yes, it is. So it's all good. So sometimes like your body has to like adjust. Some your body just needs a rest. And yes, good morning. Yeah. I just really just I don't look my best right now. I'm lying down, have the covers on me. I'm just want to cuddle up and but I just feel like I want to do a video. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, so it's good that I stayed in, me and Lavender, because if I were out this time, I would be in the middle of nowhere, and they had no shelters, and I would have been soaked in the rain, muddy and everything. You know where I like to walk. So it's all good. Sometimes you just gotta listen to what your body tells you. Your body just wants to say, hey, stay in. Or maybe just go out later on. Luckily, so it's all good. Yeah. Yeah, I went out yesterday and I met a family and had a fantastic time. Um, yeah, they're very hospitable in Rwanda. Yeah, I met a few families and yeah, they serve tea. I like my African tea. Oh yes, people have your African tea, like a spice tea. They usually use I think it's like a black tea with milk, and then they put ginger, and some of them the host added cardamom and some other things. Yes, spice I like. I love African tea. I first had African tea at the hotel I stayed. Excellent. Yeah, basically it's you make a regular pot of tea, and you heat up milk. I think they heat up the milk. Oh, and they put ginger in the tea mix, in the hot tea, and they may add. other spices, maybe cinnamon, nutmeg, or some clove, cardamom. But it is put in with the tea, and the ginger is the the taste that really stands out. I like ginger in the and they let it steep, and they so they mix the milk uh, with the tea with the essence in it. I mean, not essence, the flavorings, and it's fantastic. People, try it, try it. It is absolutely soothing. It's served hot, fantastic. They have that. They have some fruit. They like bananas also. I eat bananas every day. Rwanda has bananas all over the place. Have you seen in my videos? Yeah, they like the bananas. I personally like the bananas are kind of short, plump. I like those. They're sweeter. I like it. Let's see what else. Yeah, some one place they had some bread. I think did they have cheese also? Yeah, they had the fruit. Had some bread and the tea. Really, really, they're really nice, hospitable people in Rwanda. Really good people. Rwanda is nice. Very. I know I'm repeating myself, but they're nice. They're really nice. So yeah, I bumped into someone yesterday. Uh, and I've met them twice before, but I didn't recognize them. I meet so many people, and um, sometimes I just don't know the faces and stuff like that. But yeah, the person's around my age, almost a year older than me, and he was born. He was born outside of the country. Yeah, part of that generation of people who were in exile. He was born out. His parents left the country, and they were in exile. And I don't remember when he came back, but he came back relatively younger. Um, but it's interesting, these stories that I hear in Rwanda. He was telling me, giving me a history lesson about Rwanda, and I appreciate that. They want you to know what happened here in Rwanda. That movie Hotel Rwanda, and they were explaining a little bit about it. And so when you actually meet people who uh, actually, that were forced to leave. Yeah, his family left. I guess around 1959, 1960. You know, so they're it's really interesting meeting them. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so I did a lot of walking, and also walked with that individual, and he was to introduce me to his family, which he did. Very nice, very nice. I had tea and banana, and I gave Lavender some banana too. Yeah, um, I gave him some because he really did walk, and I didn't want him to. Yeah, I want to keep his energy up. Yeah, I'm still very protective over him, and his blood work came out okay. They were to do a general blood test, and but they need to do this other test. So I want him to get that done because I want, like, before you get a dog gets his teeth cleaned under anesthesia, they have to check to sure certain vitals are functioning well, because if not, they can be under anesthesia. Okay. Yeah. So I want him to get his teeth cleaned. And I think I might need a dentist. I'm avoiding it. I don't like dentists. I used to enjoy going, but I had a bad experience. And so I have to find, I may be forced to find a dentist sooner than later. Yeah, it is what it is, people. So anyway, yeah, I want to talk about some things here. I just wanted to get the formalities out the way, what happened quickly over the weekend and everything. Yeah, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about a vision that I had, and I want to talk about surfer culture, like surfers on a surfboard. Um, I saw a video about surfers, and it reminded me of something, and I just want to share a little bit about that, my thoughts about um, certain lifestyles. Okay, so first, as many of you know, almost forgot, really quick. Um, I got a warning from YouTube that I violated some community guidelines, and it said, "We're giving you a warning, but if it happens again, um, you're going to be basically in a timeout, for a week." Yeah, I was going to say that. I just, yeah, when I turned on my cell phone to look on YouTube, it popped up on the screen, the warning. And yeah, so yeah, YouTube is giving me a spanking. They pulled the video, and I didn't read, I didn't, they said that it was medical misinformation, and the title of the video was something that I did almost exactly to the date, 2 years ago. Yeah, September 28th, 2022. Okay. And and I was trying to be careful. I don't even remember what the video was about. I mean, I do. Oh, it said something like, the title said Texas and so and such, uh, it's happening again, something like that, the title. And I'm being penalized for something that was done videos that was done 2 years ago. So it seems like they selectively choose. Now, if it's by algorithms, then it would have picked it up, the algorithm, and pull it then when it's uploaded. So how is it now, after 2 years, they're singling it out and pulling the video? They pulled the video, and they're allowing me time to contest it. They just say, oh, it's something that may have been in violation of community guidelines. And they'll, you have an option to look at what the violation was, okay? So I'll probably look at it later, but I just wanted to do this video, this live stream. So um, people are being silenced out there. Yes, good morning, video. I mean, people. Good morning. Yes, you only see a part of my face. I'm still, the best, That's why you just show you part of the face. So I apologize. You know me, to be spontaneous. When I feel like talking and sharing, I just do it. That's how I've always been on YouTube. But it's a price to pay to speak freely. I try to, be respectful. I share my thoughts, whatever. Um, but I don't know about, they talk about medical misinformation, whatever. So, yeah, so they pulled it, and they said if you get another violation, you won't be able to upload or do anything on YouTube, okay? Yeah, they already demonetized me about 2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, people, how I'm treated by the system, It is what it is. I hate it. I don't like it, but um, just move forward. Be you. I don't want to be anybody else but me. And if they don't like my videos, whatever, so be it. And, things happen for a reason, and maybe life is just telling me, hey, you know, they're going to do this, they're going to demonetize you, but it's okay, And it is okay. My freedom of expression. But again, you have to be, be courteous. I'm not here to be insulting to people, but I am here to express, this is my spirit journey, and I share you the good and the bad. I've always done that, and I haven't hid anything from you. Um, I like to be as candid. And yes, I'm candid right now, but I'm covering my body. I don't want to scare anybody what I look like in the morning. Yeah, it's early morning here in Rwanda. It's like 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Um, and it's raining outside, so it's good that I stayed in. Something told me, hey, stay indoors. So with that from formality spoken now, okay, I want to talk about the two other things about the vision that I saw, and my thoughts about this surfing culture, but it was something that it reminded me of, and so I hope I can remember what it was. So, um, many of you know about my how I do my meditation upon awakening in the morning. I've been doing this technique since uh, 2017. Um, upon awakening from sleeping or dreaming, I keep my eyelids closed and I just relax and focus forward. And oftentimes, almost right away, I get an experience. I see things. What I saw today, it was very alarming. Um, and it's getting more personal now, even more, consistently personal when I'm experiencing. And that's what I want to share with you people. Um, okay, so the vision begins. I see a room and a square table. Um, sorry, sorry. Um, I see a square table. Looks like a when people who do play cards, like a card table, it's like a little square table. Has I see chairs, four chairs. Oh, the room is dark. Like how the room is dark in here, it was dark in the dream. I mean, in the vision. They look like four men, and they're wearing loose clothing, long sleeve, like a look like a button shirt, and slacks, and they're kind of leaning forward, and they have their hands up on top of the table. And the chairs that they was sitting in, it was an ornate type of chair. It had uh, like the backrest of the chair looked like uh, a metal, like something that was shaped in a pretty shape. It was maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, and it kind of curled where your shoulder blades would rest. It was curved nicely, and then as it goes down the back, it tapered inward, and then it connected to the chair. It was very nicely done. And it looked like it was some swirly designs in the center of this backrest. Um, the men were wearing, I mean, the thought that came to me, it looked like stripes or something. It reminded me of jailbirds. I'm just saying it. You know what jailbirds wear? Those not the jumpsuit, not like the one piece. It looked like a two-piece outfit, and it was something. It was identical. All of them had identical outfits on, and again, it was shadowy. It was you couldn't see real detail, but mm, on the table, people, on the table, and I hope you guys can hear me, and thank you for the thumbs up. On the table, the center of the table of the men, um, some of the objects I couldn't tell, but I just felt they were playing a card game. That's immediately what I thought. But what I can definitely see, what got me kind of worried, I saw a pistol. A pistol was lying on the table. It was, what do you call it, a handgun. It was lying on its right side, no, its left side, and it was pointing. Uh, I like I saw it from perpendicular, like So I saw the length of the pistol. I saw the handle of it and the gun. It's like, maybe 6, 7 inches in length from the handle to the uh not what do you call it, the opening of the tip of the handgun. And I got scared. I said, I don't like things like that. And I believe in avoiding anything like that. So I said, I don't want to see this anymore to myself. And then I see another scene comes. And oftentimes in my visions, like there, I don't know how else to explain it, as I've been saying. There's like things floating in the air. It reminds me of seaweed, like something moving all over. It reminds me of seaweed in the ocean. And I get the impression that it's to block out my vision so so I can't see what's in front of me. And um, so that's happened when the scenery changed. And the next thing I know, I'm outside. It also is dim lighting outside. And I'm, through my perspective, I am at ground level. I'm at ground level. And I see legs and feet on body. I see from like below the calf down. They were wearing slacks of some type, like loose slacks, and walking shoes, and like a rubber sole. They look very comfortable. And he's walking. I can tell. In my opinion, it was a man. It just seemed very masculine. The walk and the size of the feet and it just seemed to me male. Again, I'm just seeing from behind the person, from the calf down, and I'm seeing from the perspective that I'm at ground level. Okay. And it's moving semi slow, almost in slow motion. And I'm watching this. And then all of a sudden, people get this what happened. Um, I see an arm of someone facing my direction, like they're bending down, and you see an arm rest on the ground, the forearm rest on the ground, and he had a gun in his hand, aiming at me, ground level. This people, when I mean, I'm looking at it, and immediately I opened my eyes. I said, honey, I'm out of here. That's what I said to myself. Again, with my visions, I do not get audio. I just see things. Let me switch hands. Okay. Yeah, that's what happened. And I opened my eyes to disconnect from that experience. But it's interesting that, say, if the person is walking in front of me and their back is turned from me, and I'm seeing this individual walk, how then were they able to become aware of my presence and go on people, ground level? They had their arm resting on the ground and the pistol in their hand, aiming at me. And it seemed like they might have been like 2 feet away from me. And so I said, I'm out of here. So I opened my eyes and I said, I don't want to experience. Yeah. I noticed that my visions are getting more personal. I mean, that's personal, people. Um, and that um, I didn't feel it was as real. Like, remember before I told you about the African man, young African man who looked up in my direction and took his spear and started to try to stab me? I know this sounds very bizarre, people, very bizarre, but this is what I've experienced. And my question is, what is it that they see when they see me? What is it? For them to take a pistol or weapon, they're seeing something. What are they seeing? That is the question. Okay. So I think I see what these, I mean, I'm not going to see what I'm seeing. I don't know what I'm going to see when I see. I'm just in a meditation and I'm having these experiences. Okay. Um, so if anyone had an idea what could be going on, what could they be seeing? And for them, it has to be that real for them to take a weapon and feel that they have to defend themselves. Okay. I've never been around questionable people with those type of, act, I'm a very easygoing, I avoid trouble. I don't want to be around trouble. I don't want to be around people who drink, who smoke. I just that type of person. I just avoid situations. That's how I've. Um, so that's what the vision was. And I now want to talk about. I saw a video over the weekend, and it was. I don't remember everything that I want to talk about, but um, I address this video that I saw. It took place in America, in Long Island. Now, I am from the island, but not Long Island, like what that means, like for New Yorkers who live in the boroughs, if you live in the borough of Queens or Brooklyn, they are located on an island. It is called Long Island. But outside of those two boroughs, there's, it's not considered New York City. There are two different other counties, and it's a suburban type of place. And I wasn't into venturing out there because of the racial element back in the day. Now I have relatives that used to live out there, but I always was hesitant about there because racial element, and I wanted to avoid uh, any attack. Um, Sometimes, if you're a black person uh, in certain parts of Long Island, that you might get beat up. Uh, the police may not be very friendly. My experiences, I just avoided it. But I still, I am a New Yorker. They're New Yorkers, and you know, you have now. I mean, New York is not the same anymore. Um, you have it's like a shift in the population. Back in the 1970s and 80s, it had an overwhelming number of white people. But now, the past 20 years, have many people from what they call Latin America, the Caribbean, and you have American blacks also. It's very different. Parts of Long Island, like what they call Suffolk County, that's the far end of it, where the Hamptons are. There's a place called the Hamptons. There's East Hamptons, South Hamptons, and I want to talk about. I mean, I've never been to the Hamptons, and but I want to talk about that, like the video I was watching and my experience as it pertains to socializing and how people take how people socialize, people from a different community, how they socialize. Okay, so I'm going to be blending in my experience from 43 years ago, my very first job. I used to work with these lawyers, these Jewish lawyers who were just starting out, well, future lawyers who were just starting out. They were still in college and they were to take their bar exam. But they worked in the department I worked in. I worked in the legal department with these very seasoned lawyers back in 1980. Um, People were allowed to smoke cigarettes and cigars. And these lawyers, it was a big table, and these were older lawyers. I think they were retired, but the city hires these guys, and I think they work part time. About maybe four of them. Yeah, this was a long time ago. They were like in their 60s, but they looked like elderly 60s years old, and I the 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 lawyers in training, well, future lawyers in training, um, I mean, basically, we all did the same work. I was just a clerk. I was a clerk for the city. This is a city agency, and worked in their legal department. And they had this guy, and he invited. Yeah, it was a guy and a girl. They were like 10 years older than me. They were in their 20s. The guy was 27. And I thought he was nice. Um, and he got his friends to work there also. Yeah. In that community, they network. The Jewish, they socialize virtually exclusively. And I thought it was interesting that, like, see, this was my very, very first job. I was 17 years old when I started. I was a babe in the woods, and everything was new for me. I lived in a very closed, reality. I had excuse me, I stayed at home a lot, and now I got at my very first job, and then I was to start college for the first time in September. Yeah, I started working there in August, and school started in September. So everything was new, and everything being with adults, you know. Um, so everything was a new thing. But I remember how people socialized. And back then, working for the city, things were very extremely socially segregated. You had what they call urban blacks from Brooklyn, and this job was downtown Manhattan. So many of the people who worked there lived in Brooklyn. And at that time, I lived in Queens. I lived far away. A big portion of those people that worked there, they lived in Brooklyn. So they lived close to where they lived. I mean, they worked close to where they lived. And I remember, how yeah, lunchtime, uh, yeah, there are a lot of black men back then. And black men were black men back then. What do I mean when I say that? They were dark complexion. They were the urban street clothes. Yeah, in the city, you can wear anything. um, and they sat in one table, and then all the other, which were Jews, Jewish people who were studying law, um, they were on another side of the table. And it was like the first time I saw that type of division. It was so severe. I mean, everybody just minding their business. There was no fighting. It was just what it was. People socialize and talk to people from their own background. And the black dudes then, they weren't in college or anything like that. They were of what you call the street, big time. And many of them did drugs. Uh, Many of them drink alcohol, and they had these young future lawyers, Jewish, and they were from Queens. They were from where I was from, Queens, and it was like a wake up call. I mean, it was just like, see, I went to school that was integrated. My high school had everything: blacks, whites, Jews, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Chinese, Indian, and Greek. You had everything. And people basically got along. Some of the blacks of that school were of that element, that real street element. And many of them were in those, what do you call special ed? You know, you don't want to get in special ed in New York City. That's like a holding pin to keep troubled people away and dumb them down. Yeah, I was in one remedial class once, and I wanted to get out of it as fast as possible. Yeah. And I was also in an honors class. Yeah. People, if you have a choice, tell your children to study and get into the honors and extra on classes because they are nurturing. They nurture the students there and they want them to do well. The special ed classes avoid at all times. It is designed for your fall. I'm just saying it up front, okay? That's how it was back then in the 1970s when I was in high school. Um, so outside of that, it's, the special ed American blacks there. Um, yeah, you had West Indians also, but the special ed back then was designed for Black American people and filled with violence. Uh, I was always afraid of them. I'm keeping it real. I was afraid of them. Anything could set them off. They just want to fight. It was awful, awful. Yeah, my junior high school was like that, extremely violent. It was integrated also, very just as integrated, but it was more hostile, and I lived in fear for those 2 years I was in junior high. I meant to say junior high school. Junior high school was extremely violent. I was extremely afraid, um, but high school was a breath of fresh air. I just had one little incident with these street people. And outside of that, it was smooth sailing. It was nice. My friends went to that school. Okay, so back then, things were socially. This was 1980. That's what was that? 44 years ago, I think. Yeah, 44 years ago, and things were socially segregated, and it shook me. It made me scared because I didn't understand. Because my high school, everybody socialized, everybody sat with everybody. You talk to who you want to talk to. It didn't have a division like that. And I would say this was my adulthood was uh, was an awakening to racism in America or social segregation was uh, very traumatic for me. Um, so either way, I'm at this cafeteria, and this is what I was witnessing: blacks on one side, and then the Jews on the other side, and I just felt uncomfortable. But either way. So with that social segregation, um, I learned also how people, whether you accept it or not. And the blacks in my department that I worked in, they too were from Brooklyn. And I remember this one girl named Ramona. She was fun. She was wild though. She was wild. And the story, I can't really say the stories that she told me is too graphic sexually. But she invited me um, to a church gathering to go to the church was bringing some of the people to a what do you call it, action park, where you have rides and everything. And that was in, oh, where was that? Forget what place. I know it took forever to get there, it seemed. I don't remember, but I went with them, and I noticed like Black Americans, Black people of color, but Black people, uh, they were open about um, to invite you. I'm not from Brooklyn, and I wasn't in religion back then. But it was a social thing. Hey, our churches have it. Say, hey, you want to join? Want to come? And there's no strings attached. No strings attached. Um, and say, oh, okay. Hey, I could I bring my brother? And no problem. Yeah. So we all go, and it was a good time. Yeah. But on the other hand, the Jewish uh, students, again, they were older than me. They were 27 and I was 17. Okay. So it's an age difference. Um, and where they go to the Hamptons. Yep. The Hamptons, it was, I think, the Southamptons. Back in the day, the Hamptons, and I think it still has that status, the Hampton, I think it's the Southamptons. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think there's also an East Hamptons, but the Hamptons, this is an area where, and the Jewish population of that day hung out at the Hamptons. And this demographics back in those days was fascinated about positioning themselves socially for status. Status. I was being introduced for the first time, early in my life about social status. Now, I used to think that we were all equal. My high school was very, very diverse. Everybody got along. But I saw a hint, I have to be, there was a small hint of it. Like this one girl, she was of a Jewish background. She was nice to me. She was nice. And she sat behind me, and I had on these straight leg pants. And she said, "Oh, what brand is that?" And to me, I didn't know about brand names really. It was not of my awareness really at one point. This was maybe 1970. Oh, I was in the 11th grade, so that might have been 70, 78, 79. Yes, 78, I think it was. And I didn't understand about that. So I think I tell, I look, see what brand it was, but it wasn't an issue for me. Then I remember someone else, they had these shoes, and they took a picture of the sole of their shoes because they had a brand name. And learned that it was a status thing about your brand name shoes that they had on. They had a status thing. Yeah, yeah. And they were also of the same religion. Um, and again, this is in Queens. Uh, let's see. So slowly I was being introduced to that there's a thing called status, and I'm changing my hand. My hand's cramping up. Um, let's see. Yeah, so going back to job thing, um, the I should say Ashkenazis. These were Ashkenazis, and they're preparing for their bar exam to be able to practice law, and we worked in the legal department, and yeah, they would every summer, and I think they start Labor, May. In the last week of May is when they do the Exodus, and they get a bunch of people in a car, and they cram the car, and they head out to this place called the Hamptons, and they rent a house for the weekend. Now, to drive to the Hamptons from Queens takes, I think, over 2 hours, and um, I mean the traffic, and it's only one lane. one direct, like they have a lane going, let's say east, the other one going west. But anything happens on that road, you're stuck there, you know. So yeah, they would go out with their buddies. They would leave early in the day, and they rent a house. Yeah, they rent what they call a beach house. The Hamptons is a beach, and the water out there in Long Island is very, very rough. Very rough, yeah. It's Atlantic Ocean, very rough, big waves. Yeah, out there they have big beaches, and with my family, with my folks and thing, we used to go to Jones Beach. Jones Beach was a public beach. It was not as far out as the Hamptons, but it was a beach that anybody, people from New York City go drive to. And then they have beaches in Long Island that you have to be a uh, use their beaches, okay? And so if your car license plate is a New York City license plate, they can stop you, okay? So, anyways, let's see. Um, so they would get up early and do this long drive, and each had a cough up $1,000. Yeah, I remember that. $1,000 each of them. Okay. And they rent the place for the weekend. They leave, let's say Friday after work, drive to the Hamptons, and then they'll leave Sunday evening. And they said the traffic was really, really um, long. Okay. But interesting people, how about socialization? Um, I was invited to go to their beach house, and actually, one of them I had a little crush on. One of them used to flirt with me, and I had a little crush. I was 17, maybe by now by then 18. And he was like 27. I had a little crush on him because he was older, and he was flirting with me, but nothing really came out of it. But either way, I liked him. He was nice to me, but then he became a jerk. There was a falling out. But either way, it was what it was. We got along at work, but it was just something, his true colors came out. Uh, yeah, so I was learning about race and racism. Okay, that's what was happening. I was 17 years old, and I was learning about racism and how, like, what happened in high school was not the reality now since I graduated from high school and I was in the real world, what we call the real world, the job market world. And when you're dating, socializing, this was a new thing. It wasn't, I was getting reality, a wake up call. And it was unsettling. Um, but either way, they would, I remember this summer, they would go, they would talk amongst themselves. And I remember they would talk about each of them had to put in up $1,000 to rent a small beach house. Yeah, the Hamptons place for the rich and those people want to socialize with the rich, to be where they are. And this particular demographics was so eager for social climbing. They were social climbers. And so they wanted to be lawyers, big shot lawyers. They want to live in expensive areas. And yeah, I don't think they did surfing, but they would be a part of that. Like they get a whole bunch of people, they get booze and everything, the alcohol. And they'll just hang out at this house. I'm pretty sure they had clubs, whatever, but they'd stay at the beach house. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, that's a lot of money to have fun for just a weekend. That's a mind that, but this is how people socialized and networking, networking. And this particular group, they only stay with themselves. They socialize with themselves and they position themselves to meet up with other people who want to be around where it's happening. I don't know what's happening there, but whatever was happening there, they're there and they go to the beach, they have their fun. So, but I've never been to the Hamptons. I've never been invited there. But it's a party place for the rich and famous and wannabe rich and famous. And I remember, yeah, so that's what my child, my early adulthood was like. And over the weekend, I was watching a film on the Hamptons. I said, oh, I got to see this. Yeah, this is YouTuber who visits different places around America, and he interviews people. A really nice program. And this one was about the Hamptons, and they um, they had this guy. Um, he could have been in his 60s. It was brought up because he has his truck, this old beat up looking truck. He was a fisherman. He's from Long Island, and his family lived, him as a teen, he lived it way out in Suffolk County, by I think Montauk. That's the tail end of the island. And he at 20 something, he wanted to live there, and for him to support himself in his 20s, he became a fisherman. Yeah, Long Island used to be a fishing village. It was a quiet village. It's not a lot of people, and it's still not a lot of people. It's very quiet, very residential, a lot of beachfront, and the houses back in the day, was inexpensive. And you want to live there. I mean, it's not a lot of industries there, Long Island, but hey, he was it was a, started a fishing village, and he fished. He has a boat, and caught fish and sold it. You also have the guy on the video talked about carpenters. You had people who did carpentry work. I remember they said that. You have the rich need things repaired. So you do what you do. So I guess you have the service population to service the wealthy people. So let's say you cook, you do you cook for them, you clean for them. Um, you have the fish, they sell the fish at the market, I guess. Carpentry, your work done in your house. So I think that's how it was. Um, but what I found interesting, like he talked about, like he was a fisherman, and he looked real, you know, he looked real, much older than what his age was. When he was a Caucasian fellow, and in the sun or out in the ocean, that sun hits you. So you age. And I used to be in the Navy, and the captain of our ship was only maybe in his 40s, but he looked like 70. I kid you not, people. The sun ages your skin. Very fair skin, honey, and you work on a boat or something, your skin ages very quickly. Just saying. So this person, this fisherman, is being interviewed by this YouTuber, and his work is fantastic. I love his videos. And he took him a tour of the Hamptons, and he showed him where the rich live. He showed areas where the locals, the real, the poor, the working poor live. They had their boats, the old boats, whatever, that they had parked outside of their garage, not the garage, their driveway. Look real dilapidated. You have the working poor there in the Hamptons and parts of other parts of Long Island. But it's a quiet villa. It's quiet, very, very quiet. And then really cutesy, we call storefronts, and they had the boutiques of Italian made suits and everything. And the guy, the fisherman, he's wearing shorts, sneakers, a t-shirt. He looked real haggard. And everybody else, there was a lot of young people. There was a lot of young people there. And it was very interesting. All Caucasian people. You didn't see uh, any so-called minorities. Okay, you didn't see that. Everybody there was white. And you saw little doggies, people walking little Fifi dog. It was interesting. But in particular, as I said, I'm going to talk about the surface. Now, the Hamptons, okay, is a beach town. Uh, it's surrounded by beach. And one of the people that were interviewed, after the fisherman was interviewed, they showed these guys who were surfers. And I thought it was interesting. It's interesting culturally. Even when I went to the beach as a child, you did see surfboards, on top of the car, and they were going out surfing. And it was a sport that was exclusively for white people. You, s- you back then, you didn't see any black people who were of the surfer community, or they didn't even have a surfboard. But you go in Hawaii, I think surfing started in Hawaii. Yeah, you may find like the native Hawaiians, they what they call a boogie board, a small board, and they lie on top of it, and they surf the waves. Some of them have surfboards, but it's almost it's a very um, it's a whole culture, people. The surf culture it's very um, s- insulated community. Um, so I thought this was interesting. Um, so they were being interviewed by this YouTuber, and what it reminded me of, like, they were very youthful looking. They were two white guys. One was 21 and one was 22. They looked older actually, and they were real slim, real slim. They had stomach muscles. Uh, One of they had people in the background playing throwing a football with two other back and forth in front of the camera, and they look real laid back. And it got me thinking, when I was just a teenager and used to go to the beach with my family, it wasn't at the Hamptons, it was Jones Beach. That was the local beach that anybody could go to. And I was always curious about the white population that went there. They had their own world. They were young. They would go with yeah, they liked the sun. I remember how they lie in the sun for hours. Yeah, I did too. I lied in the sun also. Yeah, back in those days, we would try. Yes, I'm a part of I came from a black family, and yeah, we used to lie in the sun, and we used to see who could get the darkest. I'm serious, but most black people did not want to get darker. I'm being real, people, and you know it. Yeah, back in the black people didn't want to get blacker, but I'm a little lighter than many of the blacks. I have like um, a brown or a caramel color rather than an ebony color. And so I can get darker if I stay in the sun. And if you have a bathing suit that has designs, your suntan could get in the shape of the design. And so I thought that was always cool, you know? But that's what it was for me growing up. This is what you do in the summer. You go to the beach, lie in the sun, you get a suntan. That's what it was, my reality for me. I know that wasn't like that for many blacks in New York. But anyway, but I was always fascinated with the whites there in the beach. They stayed themselves. They never talked to anybody outside of their own. They never disrespected me or my family. Never. There was never a problem. We usually the only black people there. I said, yeah, this is in the 1970s, and yeah, we're the only uh, obvious black family there, and no one ever bothered us. No one ever said any the N word, whatever. It was always positive, but they didn't like talk to. I didn't talk to them, and they didn't talk to us. I stayed with my family. And when I was a little girl, I was extremely shy, extremely shy. Didn't talk to anybody. Just stayed. I was afraid of the water too. But other members of my family, they knew how to swim, and they weren't afraid of the water. So they would dive in the waves and all that. Not me. I was a scaredy cat. I was and always was afraid of water. I almost drowned. I did. Not at the beach, but at a pool. So I always had a respect for water, and I just like going, up to the waist, and if a wave comes, I run away. That's what it was like for me. But I was always fascinated with the white culture of that they had their own life, They seem to walk in their how you say their walk their ground, you know. They they were in their element. Water and sun was their element, and for me, it was very foreign, very foreign. So that was my memory growing up, and then watching the YouTube video. These young guys, and they reminded me of back in the day in the 1970s, and they have their own world. And what stood out in the video, they were mentioning that, as it said, with this surfer community, something like that, that they live to surf. They live to surf. And when I lived in Hawaii also, it was the same, Hawaii is heavily surfer culture. And in Hawaii, I lived in Lahaina. That was the town that caught on fire last August, last year in August, 2023. The whole town got wiped out in less than 24 hours. It's rubble now. You can look at the videos on YouTube regarding Lahaina. That's in the island of Maui, where it's devastated everything in Lahaina. And the culture in Hawaii is surfer culture. And I lived in a house in Lahaina. I rented a room in a house. And you want to get up here, doggy? Look at laughing. That's really good. You want to get up? Okay, let me get him. Okay. 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 Yeah, he probably wants to eat soon. Oh, look at Yeah, people, it's not breakfast right now. You know that. Mommy be able to cook your food. See that? Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, I don't want to get on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still, I'm not confident how I'm dressed right now, but I just want to talk, people. Yeah, it was raining outside, and I like to feel all cuddly wuddly, under the covers when it's raining. I keep the lights low and all that. That's just me. I've always been this way. For culture. Now, I lived in a house, a what you call a plantation house, and I room, and I was the only black person in that house, the only female also in that lived actually inside the house. It had, let's see, one, two, three other rooms in the house, excluding my room, and we shared a kitchen, and there was a living room with a TV set. And I remember later on, he put the landlord. He was a sub. I subleased the unit. So you have people in Hawaii. They get a lease and then they sublease it. Okay, so that's what the situation was for me. Um, I came with a little bit of stuff, one box and a suitcase, and I went for work right on right on Front Street. I was to do baking. I was a baker back then. I studied baking, got my certificate in baking, and things didn't work out for me in New York. I got blacklisted, and so I had to move. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to get a job in Hawaii in cooking. And it worked for a while, for a little bit, and then it turned sour. But either way, around the first, I think it was, I was there for 5 months, that house. Yeah, about 5 months. um it was a typical plantation house with a tin roof on stilts. It had a little backyard. I loved it. It was very safe. It the Hawaii was a plantation place. It had sugar. It was involved with sugarcane industry, and then later pineapple. Okay, they phased out, I was told, sugarcane industry. So when I was there, they still had it. They still had sugarcane fields and processing plants for the sugarcane to make sugar. But that was, I was there in '98, and so it's been 24, 26 years ago. This was. So it's a while ago, people, and things change, and the economies, is changing there evidently. Um, so the houses there were in that area were all the same type plantation houses. Um, Nearby was a former mill, like a train that used to deliver the sugar cane. But either way, I'm kind of getting off the top, but I'm just giving background of the place. It was a very small community, but the people that was attracted to Hawaii were members of the surfer community. Usually they are men, the young men, and many times they come from, my impression, many of them come from the West Coast, California. You won't find New Yorkers. You find a lot of East Coast people living in Hawaii. Most of the people I met were from the West Coast. I did meet one person from Detroit, but really, oh, I met some from New York. Really, the people that moved to Hawaii are mostly whites from the West Coast, and they like their surfing. They called back in the day, they were called beach bums. That term can offend some people, okay? But I think affectionately they're called beach bums. These are people, they wear their shorts, flip flops, uh, they may have a t shirt on or they go topless, the guys, and they have their long hair, and they just at the beach all day, and they take pride in their surfboards. They wax the surface of the surfboard. They have all this paraphernalia for this community of people, surf shops. They have the bathing suits. Oh, I forget the name, the brand name brand. I don't want to give the the wrong name, but there was a brand name of shorts. Um, they have the flip flops. Oh, well, the Cuba or Cuban. It's these flip flops from Cuba or something like that. Um, oh yeah, and then they have the suntan lotion. And many of these people they do drugs. Yeah, it's known. I mean, I've I didn't actually see them do the drugs, but you could like the person that is in the room next to me, he was smoking drugs. I smelled it coming out from his. He wasn't a surfer, but he was a young dude, and yeah, his parents. It was really weird, people. He was a young guy from the West Coast, uh, 21 years old, and he was, I guess, escaping something. And one day, his mom and sister came by, and I was living there. Oh yeah, I was wearing my shorts and flip flops, and the girl that she looked like a teenager. She looked at me like a piece of poo poo. Yes, she did. She looked at me like a piece of poo poo, like I'm a bad person because I'm a person of color, right? He's a white dude, so I must be the bad person, right? That's how it was. This was in 98, 1998. But who was the bad boy was him. He did drugs. He got a job at a car dealership, car rental place, and he took the car. And the boss calls the house phone and they use my phone. Yeah. I brought with me to Hawaii my back you know the old fashioned phone. You pick up the handset and you dial. That's what I had. And I was looking for work and I had to get my messages. So there was phone service and I hooked up my phone to the outlet, so I can get messages. And it had a built-in answer machine. And so one day the phone rang and it you hear the boss. He said, "Hey, you there? So and so. Blah 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 blah, blah. You better bring back the car." Blah blah blah. Yeah, his boss was afraid of him. He said, "Oh, are you there still? Are you there?" And he's scared. Then he hangs up. Yeah, so we were hearing news about the guy. Yeah, he was taking the car and going on joyrides with the people from his job and driving around with the company car. Hello. Yeah. So, yeah, and then he was doing drugs. And one day, yeah, this was new when he just arrived. Um, my room was right next to his room, and none of us at the time had locks on our door. Yeah, it was like the so-called honor system, and that you respect people's privacy. But of course, these people didn't respect my privacy. Yeah, I was in my uh, mid 30s, and one day I was um, we had I had like a mattress on the floor. Like he didn't have like a springboard, just the mattress, for sleeping on. I didn't mind that. Um, and I was sitting down on the mattress, and then someone opens my door. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I went in the wrong room." Okay, and then I get up and walk out of the room, and then immediately he starts asking me for money. Yes, he did, people. Yes, he did. He was asking me for money. And I didn't like that. And I realized this is a thief. Yeah, he went in my room to see what I had to steal from me. Yeah, I didn't have much back then. Again, I just came with a suitcase of clothes and a box with, I didn't have valuables, you know. Uh, but that's what happened. And so it's interesting how in Hawaii, blacks aren't liked. Even though the indigenous population have black skin, black and brown skin, um, they don't like black Americans, but they love our money. Okay, just saying, people, just saying. I'm being real. And so, what else happened? Um, yeah, so someone was starting to steal my food. Now, I had very little money. I came to Hawaii with a little cash, uh, just to get me started. And food is expensive there. And I remember I bought ground beef once, and I thought people trained to, it's not yours, you don't use it. Well, someone helped themselves to my meat. They used their bare hand to scoop out the ground beef, what you use to make hamburgers. And you see like a hand markings. And then they had the meat, some of the meat fell on the floor. They didn't even have the decency to clean up after their mess. Yeah, so they were stealing my food. And I was angry at that. But why I left that place, I loved the outside of that. I loved the neighborhood. I felt safe walking in the neighborhood, and it's next to everything, all the shopping, for the tourists. I loved Lahaina Town. I loved it. Lahaina Town was the best. Um, next to the plantation house that I lived was a garage, and the person sublet the garage and set it up to be like an apartment. And she was 18 years old. She's what you call a local girl. She was like a person of color, like probably an Asian mix. And she had two little friends that were 16 years old. One was a white girl, and one was a local brown skinned fellow. Probably, an Hawaiian mix of something, whatever. Everybody there's mixed. And the guy took a match and a lighting fluid or something, and he was trying to light the table on fire. They were at a little table right by the little garage where she lived. And when the guy did that, I said, I'm out of here. Yeah. So I looked for my own place, another place, and I moved shortly after. That's what happened. Yeah. So in this area, you meet, one of the guys that lived there. He was of the old surfing community. He was a white dude. He looked very old for he's probably, not as old as look, but his hair was completely white, stringy, shoulder length. He did, I think, construction. Yeah, he did construction, and he had his surfboard. Yep, he everywhere he went, he had his surfboard with them, and they take pride. One thing I thought was very interesting with the surf community, they take pride in their surfboards, man. Um, it's almost like a religion. And yeah, so back in his day, honey, he was a surfer. And some people are wannabe surfers. They like this. I met this one girl from my job. She was a Filipino, and she was dating the white American fellow who was a doctor. And I made the mistake, like she was telling me something about him surfing. So I said, oh, something about I used the term uh, surf, what do you call it? Beach bum. And she gets upset. Don't call him a beach bum. I wasn't like saying that he specifically is a beach, but that's what they call. Oh, it's a beach bum. He says, no, he's not a beach bum. He's a physician. He's a doctor. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, they go out there, a beach bum. They sit out there all day. They look at the, and they wait for the big wave to come in, and then they all flock to the water. Yeah, this was their lifestyle. And this was their life. And again, the whole paraphernalia, let me sit up a little bit. It was a paraphernalia, everything. The body lotion, the bathing suits, the flip flops. And even in the day in the 1960s, remember it was music, the Beach Boys, remember that? The Beach Boy culture. And they would say that they live to serve. And I said, wow. So then I started thinking about myself. I said, what do I live to do? Like, I always asked myself growing up, what is my life purpose? What is my life purpose? I mean, I had my 9 to 5 job, and I didn't know what my purpose in life was. And the racial element was very big in New York City. And I always wondered where I fit in. What was life, my life purpose was all about. And here in this beach culture, the guy that I was watching on YouTube 2 days ago, they were they were being interviewed, and they're from Long Island, and I'm from the island, but not in Suffolk County or Nassau County. And you have a beach culture there, and a surfing community there. And they were saying that, like, and these are guys in their 20s, 21, 22. One was a surfing instructor, and the other one was a student. And they just, he says, I live to surf, and nothing is important. I just want to, they connected with the waves. And, the waves could sound very hypnotic. I love the sound of the water, waves, but I don't like going into water, to be honest. But for them, this is their life. And I said, wow, someone, these are white individuals, 21, 2 years old, and they're saying on camera that they just, and this was a recent video, they live their life to just surf. And it's like, wow. And I have to admit, like my growing up as a child and going to the beach as a youth, and you see this like that they're in their element, and they're very comfortable with themselves. They're comfortable with their bodies, and I'm fascinated with individuals who are in their element. They love themselves, that they love like they that like the ground they walked on was their domain. It was their land. That's how they came. Not, but it was a confidence. It wasn't an arrogance. It was a confidence, and that's what I was attracted to. I was attracted to their inner competence, their element, and that was their element. And watching the video 2 days ago and be reminded about the surfer community and what I remember growing up as a child. And I said, how could people what is life all about? So I started asking myself again while I was watching the video, what is your calling? I'm asking myself. So here, I'm in Africa, Central East Africa, the country of Rwanda. I have my little dog with me. Okay. And I ask myself, what's my purpose in life? Because I always wondered, like, what is my calling? And I'm always thinking that this life is a mystery. And when I'm watching the video, I said, maybe it's no mystery, people. It's up to you to decide what your purpose in life. And I'm trying to navigate my life through somebody else's life. And that is a no-no. I am not a man. I'm not a European or Caucasian or white person. I am a female, I am a person of so called color, and I'm at the age that I am. We all have to choose our path. I was just thinking that, we're on this planet and we all like trying to stay busy. But what are we staying busy for? We call it in America the rat race. And we're in a rat race. What is the rat race all about? Oh, you better get good grades in school so you can get into a good college. And then when you go into college and graduate, there's no jobs for you. Hello, people. There are no jobs for you. There are no jobs for you. But if you know some people's networking, you get jobs through networking many times. Okay. But that myth that if you do this, you'll get that. And did you know the word career means a chase? One day I looked up that word. It was in the 1994, I think it was. And I was analyzing my life. I thought I wanted to go into, yeah, I was in advertising at that time, I entered it in uh, around August of 1993. I was there for a year and a half, but I remember I asked, but like, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life. I was leaving. I used to live in the Caribbean, and I came back to New York, and I was just getting reacclimated, and a family member helped me get this job through connections. He knew someone who knew someone who they needed work, helper, and then my name was recommended, and it took about a month to processing to get the job. Um, but yeah, people there had a young woman. She was 5 years younger than me, I remember. She was a nice lady. She was of Irish ancestry. She was a nice lady, actually. Very nice young lady. And her culture, she on the during the summer, okay, she was Irish Catholic background. And the Catholics of New York City, they have a different hangout from the Jews of New York City. Okay, the Irish, there'll be Irish and Italians. They do socialize, and primarily both groups tend to be Catholic in general. In general, and they go to a place called the Shore. They go to the Shore, and the Shore, as it was known amongst the crowd, that crowd, was a place in South New Jersey. They have beaches in New Jersey, and they too have a hangout. I think they also, I think it was for the weekends also. Is I'm going to the shore, you know, and they had their nails painted. Yeah, they get they back then they had the tips, the nail tips, and they paint these the bright like they might use salmon, and this girl also used orange and everything. She was a nice lady. I'm just remembering it. I'm not criticizing, but I just remember all this. Yeah, this was over 30 years ago. Um, and what else I remember? Yeah, she and I think another person job, they hung out together. They went to the shore, and they would I think rent a house there again. Again, like I noticed with whites in America, they have a network. They insulate culturally, and they they're with their own, and they have an infrastructure that supports their activities. They have an infrastructure that supports their activity. So they would have people who rent houses in the summer for these youngsters, 20 something year olds, to stay the weekends over there. I do not know how much money it costs them, but I don't think it would be as much as the Hamptons. The guy when I was in my first job 40 plus years ago, it was $1,000 each one would contribute to the house. And the video I was watching 2 days ago, they said the houses to rent are in the multiple thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah, I, I, it was just ridiculous, the price. It could be over $20,000. Yeah, they're a lot of money. They had these small homes. Again, Long Island at Suffolk County, used to be a fishing community. It were these small houses. A shack in the millions there, people. Oh, yes. You got a little shack, a two-bedroom shack or something like that in the millions. And they're catered to. They get restaurants, the clubs, oh, the bathing suits and this and that. Yeah. And people, many years ago, I also did mention, I used to live up to the age of 4, a place called Far Rockaways. Far Rockaways is in Queens. It's in the south part of Island, and it's all beach. It's a beach town. However, many of you may not know, Far Rockaways, they have, okay, one end of Far Rockaway are what you call the projects. The projects is a government-owned apartment complex for affordable living. When they first got established, they were affordable starting homes, living conditions for people. So let's say you just get married and you move to the projects, or let's say you move out of your folks' home, you just getting started, you go live in the projects. But it was designed for families, really. And it was just temporarily, and then you buy a house, and that's what our family did. This was in the 1960s when I lived there. Yeah, and but it was a beach town. I almost forgot to mention that. It was a beach town, and the name of the beach is called Rockaway Beach. It is humongous beach. Not only is it very long, it is also very wide, and it is spectacular. But it does not have the the beach with the surfer community. Okay, you want to get down now? Okay, my little doggy. Oh, okay, okay. You saw that? Yeah, you saw that. So, yeah, I'm gonna get you your breakfast. So, yeah, I'm so glad I remembered this now. Yeah, again, it's about culture and society. Now, initially, Far Rockaway was into it. It had whites there. You had white people that lived there. Because I remember as a little girl, I remember seeing some white people that our family knew. There was a young woman, and they had a little girl. Yeah, the projects and Far Rockaway was the ghetto, but it turned into the ghetto. It is one of the now, it's one of the most dangerous neighborhoods that you can live in. The other half of Far Rockaway are condos, and you have a different clientele. And it's a beach community. It's laid back. Yeah, or all of or like I did a video uh in 2016, and I show you what it looked like. I did that. That was 16. Uh and I went to the beach there. I went there twice, and I think I showed did two videos of Far Rockaway. But yeah, it is a quiet part of Queens. It's not like not heavily uh like businesses. You have where the projects are, and there's no businesses there. It's like deserted. It's like a deserted neighborhood, and the beach is right there. It's free. Um, they used to have a boardwalk made out of wood, but they redid it. It got destroyed. And yeah, it was a really bad uh, hurricane a couple of years back, maybe 10 or 20, 10 or 12 years ago. I think Hurricane Sandy, and it devastated many of the homes there. Yeah, it was massive flooding, and people had to rebuild the homes. Yes, I knew a person that lived there, and she her place was ruined, and uh, she got it redone, and she sold it, and she showed it to me. Yeah, she was someone who I knew, um, and I okay now. Um, yeah, but anyway, yeah, there's not a lot of infrastructure there, so you have many of the people there in Far Rockaway that live in the project are black people. You have blacks and a lot of Puerto Ricans that live there. And there many of the people that live there are generationally. So let's say your grandma moved in there long time ago, and then she has a child, and then the child has a child, and you can pass on the lease to that next generation. Okay, so that's what happens. It's affordable living, but it's has very poor. It's run by the government, and it's poor security. There's no security, and so you have gangsters that go in there. You have graffiti. But yeah, I used to live in those buildings, and it became the ghetto. That yeah. Um, But either way, the community there, even though you're right on the beach is right there. You can walk 15 minutes to the beach. I mean, this is a Chagunda size beach, but no infrastructure. Okay, there's no stores for the beach culture, the flip flops, the bikinis, the trunks, the guy trunks, suntan lotion, or sunscreen. Nothing. It is not. It's not. There's no industry. There is no. Not even fishing community. People who fish. Not even that. It's nothing. The people live there, and uh, who knows where they work. And then the other half with the private. Yeah, I think later on I'll look at the video that I did on Far Rockaway. Yeah. But yeah, it looked nice. That other half, it was quiet, and that part is supposed to be very safe. Yeah, I did a video there, and I actually thought about moving there because it was getting dangerous. Remember, back then, it was getting dangerous in my neighborhood in Manhattan. I lived in Manhattan at that time, and it was getting more and more dangerous. I said, hey, why I live here? Hey, you know, I was born and raised in Far Rockaway, Queens, and so I always had, it's something I thought about. I said, wow, I wanted to get in touch with my roots, my early beginnings, and just wanted to know what it was like to live there when I was a child. I don't really remember much. I remember the hallway. I remember the compact room where you throw your garbage. And I remember the balcony. There's no more balcony because I think people might have been jumping off the balcony. Yeah, so they sealed that up. And that's all I really remember. Oh, I remember there was a playground also. Yeah, they had white people there. Yeah, I remember that. There was a young white girl at the playground. Um, yeah. But the blacks there, Puerto Ricans that live there, they're not part of the beach community. I mean, they're not that culture like the what do you call the beach bums, the surfer club thing. That's not of their reality. It is really something, and I was confused. Again, I visited there in 2016, and I'm wondering, well, how come they're not trying to build up this community? Prime real estate people, prime real estate. The beach. I mean, I've been when I was in the Navy. I was in the French Riviera. We did a Mediterranean cruise when I was in the Navy. I lived on a ship. And we visited the French Riviera. And it's a nothing burger. A nothing burger. I mean, yes, they have a long coast, but it's narrow. You feel like you lie down. Yes, the width was as long as the human body. I said, man, and then on the side is a sidewalk. So you feel like claustrophobic, but you go to beach like Far Rockaway Beach, baby, it is big, big, big. It is long, it is wide, honey. Yeah, best beach in the world, I think. Yeah, and if you want waves, yes, you can get those waves out there. You don't have to even go to Hawaii to get the big wave. It's the Atlantic Ocean, man. Those waves are strong, strong, strong. So again, I'm noticing about lifestyles of people. So here, in contrast to Hawaii or the Hamptons, you have young people primarily, and their desire is to just like chill out on the beach. It's like your home. You just I don't know what type of food they eat, but they're all slim also. That's another thing I noticed. They're very, very slim. You don't see a fat surfer at all. The girls that surf, they're all slim and everything like that. Okay. But in Far Rockaway, Queens, again, prime real estate. They do bicycle though. They did the boardwalk so you can also ride your bike. So people do that. Um, yeah, and I went on the beach there. Yeah, I went, and I was the only. Here you go again. Only black non-Hispanic there. Yeah, you had whites and uh Puerto Rican looking people there, but like darker skinned people, like my color and dark. No, they weren't there. Why are they here? Yeah, it's just again cultural. And in American Black culture, we don't want to be in the sun and we don't want to get our hair wet. People, come on, have some fun and get some sun. We need, the Black community. We need a lot of sun. We need to be out 20. What's that? I think 20 minutes longer. We have to be out in the sun longer just to get the equivalent. We have to be in there significantly longer to get the same, to make the same amount of vitamin D. Okay. We need to be in the sun. We need to get our vitamin, we make vitamin D. Vitamin D promotes strong bones, and you need that. And at one time, I was vitamin D deficient, I found out. I was wearing these long skirts and long sleeve shirts in the wintertime. And my doctor checked my vitamin D. And also, my I didn't go out in the daytime. I had to do schoolwork. I was a student back then, college student. I stayed in all day, and then I would leave in the evening to go to school. And so by the time I get out, it's dark outside. So I wasn't getting enough sun. and my doctor gave me vitamin D supplements. So it's a culture. And sometimes the culture gets formed, it formed people by our fears. Uh, we may fear to get our hair wet because black people here, like mine, gets frizzy when wet, and then it gets hard to comb. Um, so that limits our activity. Many of us are afraid to get darker because we feel ashamed about our skin color. That is our best asset. Our color is our best asset. Black is beautiful. Our coloring is beautiful. And just like you get shoes, we have black shoes. Well, don't you want to polish it up and make it look beautiful? Well, that's what your skin is. It's a black beauty. You just polish it up, get a nice tan, get some sun, healthy. And being in the sun makes you feel happy, and when you need the shade, get in the shade. So, again, culture influences our activities. I notice people's activities. White people aren't afraid to get their hair wet, so they just jump in the water. They don't have that fear. And they tend to like to get darker. I mean, I've seen people, whites, I don't know how they stay out that long, hours. Like, I used to live in the city, as you guys know, and I did videos of me at the harbor. It's a pier, and it's a long, and they have an area where there's grass and trees, and you had people, white people there, and this one lady's skin looked like leather. It was dark like leather, and I don't know how much sun she's gonna need, but man, but her skin looks severely sun damaged. And so I don't understand when they there are hours because they don't require white skin, European skin does not need a lot of sunlight to make the vitamin D. And you have a lot of growing number of whites who are getting skin cancer because of certain activities. I think it's a combination of things. It turns out if you put on sunscreen, um, you put it on outside, the ingredients in the sunscreen radicalizes and causes skin damage. It gets oxidized, it forms free radicals, and it damages your skin, and you can get skin cancer. Letting you know, people, if you have people or if you have very fair skin and you put on sunscreen, do not put the sunscreen while you're in the sun. You put the sunscreen when you're indoors. Put your sunscreen, yes, people, yes, hi there. Yeah, put your sunscreen on indoors at least a half an hour before you go outside because it has to absorb, the sunscreen lotion has to be absorbed in the skin for it to give you protection. And if you don't allow that time, the lotion that's on the surface of the skin will react to the infrared lights of the sun and cause skin cancer. It can cause you skin cancer. So please, if you put it on, the winter season is approaching, the fall is here, is approaching. And wait a minute, it's a fall, let's see. Oh my goodness. Did the autumn just come? Oh my God. Autumn, oh wow. It's fall now. It's fall in America, in the northern states. Yeah, it's autumn. Oh, forgot about that. Yeah, it's autumn now. It starts to get cold and everything. Some people go on vacation, um, for the holidays. So yeah, people, if you're going to the Caribbean or some warm place, please put on your sunscreen. Please put it on indoors. Let it absorb. wait at least a half an hour, and then go outside. I see also mommies, and I know they love their babies. You have white women who put slap on uh, tons of sunscreen on their babies. They just slap it on, honey. That is the worst thing you can do for that baby. Okay, you got a baby, put the lotion on at home. Absorb the let it absorb in the skin before you bring that baby outside. That baby, when it gets older, can get sun cancer. I mean, skin cancer. Please, lady, I know you love your babies, you know, but use wisdom. That's why now it's a growing number of skin cancer amongst that demographics, okay? Yeah, anybody can get sun cancer, I mean skin cancer, anybody. But use wisdom, okay, and put it on before you go outside. So yeah, so going back to the culture of contrasting the culture of whites and blacks in America, even though blacks could live on the beach, like Far Rockaway Beach in Queens, where I'm actually from. I was born there. I was born in a hospital, and we lived in Far Rockaway, you know, and it was a beach town. And yeah, our family used to go to the beach. I was told I left at 4. I was going on 5, and then we moved to a different part of Queens. And then by that time, when we moved, we went to uh, Long Island on what do you call it, Jones Beach. Very nice beach. We go there. So, but I'm noticing though, the culture is different, the lifestyle is different, and I ask myself, what is the meaning of life? What do we supposed to do? So here we have a white community that's involved in the beach surfer surfer culture, and then you have blacks that live in Rockaway, Queens, surrounded by the beach, but no beach culture. There's no infrastructure for the lifestyle there, but it's a beautiful beach, big beach, but we're not connected. It seems like we're not connected to the land. And I think that's what really fascinated me with the white culture, beach culture. They seem connected to the land. But I notice in America, Black America is not connected to the land. And in return, I mean, this is just my opinion as a Black woman from America. Uh, we're not connected to the land. We're not connected to our bodies. Many of us are like many of the Black women are having abortions. Um, Kamala Harris is targeting uh, the Black community. She went to a meeting with Black women and is encouraging about her platform about the what do you call it? Like your body, your rights. You know, rights to what do you call it? What's the expression they give it? Freedom of choice. What's that thing? I forget the expression what's used, but really it is about having the rights to kill your baby. You know, your fetus, and with the Roe versus Wade law, that law allows the state, it allows the state to have that a woman can even have her baby eliminated even after birth. It is allowing that. So, so it seems to be a that the Black American culture is self-hating. We don't like our hair texture. We don't like our skin texture. So we don't want to go on the beach, get some nice sun so you can make your vitamin D. And lack of vitamin D also makes you depressed too. So we're depressed. We do drugs. What do we do? Let's see. We don't value our life. You go to, We have communities in America where I'm from, and during certain holidays, uh, there's always a mass bang bang. Someone takes a weapon and bang bang, right? And it's a disaster. We don't value ourselves. We not, we need to get. I feel people. I didn't know that my conversation is going to steer in this direction, but I think it's very important. I think what's happening, so when you don't like yourself, and I used to hate myself, I was a self hater. I hated every aspect of myself. But now I like myself. I like my skin color. I like my hair. I have afro hair. I like me. I like to eat right. I like to get sun. And if I need shade, I go in that shade. If it's getting hot, I go inside. I'm not going to be stupid, If it's too much, go inside. And I like socializing. I like meeting people, talking to people. But in New York City, we weren't really talking to each other. We like putting on music, rap music. And what is rap music about? It's about violence. It's about the deprecation of the woman. It's about the self loathing of the black body. So much that they just want to bang bang themselves, right? New York City, before I left, young black men doing the smoke. It's now legal to smoke that herb. I don't want to say the word, you know, but people smoke herb, if you know what I mean. But I believe that herb is tainted with this chemical. You watch the people, the young black men, like in their 20s or teens, do the herb because now it's legal, and there are smoke shops all over New York City, predominant when in neighborhoods where blacks like to congregate. So they're affecting your mind, the way you think, and it has you out of your mind. Out of your mind. Just go to New York City in neighborhoods where you have a lot of black people, and you're going to see those smoke shops. Who goes in them primarily? Who goes into those smoke shops primarily but black people? And they're out of their mind. Their pants are hanging down. They don't love themselves. They're not in tune with their bodies. Because if they were, they wouldn't be doing that herb. Okay? We want to cover right here what it can do. So they put on hair weaves, braids, just anything to cover up what their natural hair is. And I think it's sad. And then we're uh, not reproducing. We are eliminating our babies from the womb. Um, we're not opening up stores, like here, perfect store in a perfect neighborhood, like Far Rockaway. Hey, you're therapeutic to breathe in the air, ocean air. It should be your best friend. It's not. You could set up a culture there, but we're so disconnected. We stay indoors in an apartment, listening to music and getting stoned, right? That's all we seem to do in New York City. We're not outdoorsy. Yeah, I used to go to you saw my videos back when I lived in Manhattan. I used to get up early as early as I could to go to the park, and I walk. It's free. Going to the park is free. And many of us don't take advantage. And if you see a person of color, a so-called black person, remember there was a Brazilian girl I met? Yeah, they're always from somewhere else. You have a Brazilian, a black Brazilian, and then you had these Jamaicans. Yeah, and the older Jamaican in their 70s. The late one was in the 70s and one was probably like in the 30s. Okay, and then you have me, and my background is Caribbean. My grandparents from the Caribbean, but I wasn't raised in the Caribbean culture. But I guess I am who I am, and I wasn't taught to feel, you know, I know who I am, and I always wanted to do things because I was curious about certain things, and I was curious why you had people who did different things, and I always wondered why one group always seemed to be depressed, and another group was they walk in their power. They when they walked, it's like they owned it, that they owned the land that they walk in. And I don't mean in arrogance, but in competence, as I said earlier. They walked in competence of their being. And but instead, within the black community, in certain neighborhoods, they didn't walk with confidence. They were walking with predatorial, like you better not bump into me or you better not step on my toe type of look. It's a different attitude. We don't trust ourselves. We don't like ourselves. We don't love ourselves. And I'm saying that in my opinion, to survive in today's society, you have to learn how to love yourself. You may have to walk alone like myself. I walk alone many times. I've always been a loner, but I do like getting in contact with people and having a decent conversation. In New York City, in America, we're not having a conversation. We're not. We're on the edge of war. And I want to warn America, you have to stop. You have to uh, get in tune with your environment. You need to be close to nature, people. You need to go, if you can get access to go by a beach or go to a forest, uh, go by a river. I think you should try it because you're becoming disconnected. You don't know how to farm. Not to say that I'm a farmer, but I'm trying to grow things. So you've seen my videos from 2017 when I was trying to grow fruits and vegetable fruits and herbs at home, like parsley, things like that, watermelon, and but I tried my best. And I showed people, hey, get in there, learn how to get into the soil, learn how to maybe do some sprouting. I did sprouting. I showed you how to do sprouting. Um, I want us to take initiative with life. I want us to take initiative about the food you put in your body. It's like you don't care what goes in your body. Many of us do these alcohols, do the weed and stuff like that, and what is it doing to your body? You go to restaurants, fast food restaurants. What do they put in that oil? They use this rancid oil, which is it has many times it's old and so it's oxidized and it can cause cardiovascular disease. And you eat this. And we as Black people are one of the sickest demographics in America. There's one group that does worse than the general Black population, and that is the Pima Indians, the Native American Indians of the Pima tribe. I was a nutrition major in my master's studies. My master's degree is nutrition. And we had to learn about these people because of the diseases that they would have due to lifestyle and I would imagine stress also. Um, and people are relying on your stress, they're relying on your reactivity to stress, and they're going to try to press your button. But I'm just saying, don't believe the hype. Stay away from trouble. Stay away from trouble. Stay away from trouble. Go within. Stay at home. Avoid violence. Avoid it, people. Do what is right for you and your children. Okay? Things are getting, election time is coming closer. And people are going to try to trigger you to do acts of violence. I'm saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Um, Black and white America, in my opinion, will both, I sense that they're going to do a, trying to cause a, what you call a race war. Do not fall for it. They want both of you uh, unalived. They want both of you. They don't like either of you. And they want to unalive you both. And then they're going to control America with the new demographics. They have them already placed in. They have the people from what they call Latin America. They have a whole people from Africa, and where else? Um, I don't know so much about the Middle East or North Africa, but people, East Asia, have East Asia also. I mean, all over the world. But they're purposely setting up this new demographics to replace you. They're doing this to replace, to uproot you and to place in a new demographics to uh, navigate the new America, the new socialism that they're trying to implement there in America. I saw it coming for a long time. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. And get in, they want to try to, um, they want to promote this, what do you call it? The, what do you call it? The virus. Yeah, in Rwanda now, it was announced. It was I received an email 2 days ago, and it's a warning for this new virus. Hello, where did these new viruses come from? Oh, a quick message about that. That just remind me. This is very, very important. People, I see we got a listener here. This is very important. Um, I noticed when I went out yesterday, there was a massive amount of mosquitoes all over. Now, the night before, there was a rainstorm, and maybe that triggered the birth of mosquitoes. But I never saw it like that before. Okay. Um, of someone that I know told me that it was a video, and person something they saw, that they saw a number. I think it was the number 38. They somehow they saw the mosquito, and they saw that on the belly, get this people, get that this is very important. On the belly of the mosquito was a number written on the belly. Now that must have been a big mosquito, but they noticed a number, and I think they said it was number 38. And what the person that's telling me this, they surmised that uh, there was they believe that what do you call it, germ warfare, or use weaponizing insects, mosquitoes, to transport diseases to the population. This was recent. This person showed me. I mean, this person told me. But after this video, I want to go on my YouTube. I want to go on YouTube and check out any about the mosquitoes, weaponizing mosquitoes. Okay, so here in Rwanda, we just got notification of this virus coming about. I think that I wrote I forget it, the name. And then in America, someone saw that the mosquito had a meaning that it's put in a, part of a lab, lab laboratory generated this mosquito. And uh, but why be out in the general population? Remember a couple of years ago, It was over a field. There were uh, people going, black people at a picnic, and then you see a plane, a small plane, right over the people, and then there was a releasement of mosquitoes. There was it looked like a black cloud, and they dropped it over the people. Hello, people, be careful. When I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. I did buy something. I hope I can find it, people. I bought a mosquito net. They have one for like if you're walking outside in nature. It has pants, um, booties, gloves, and a hat and a face net and a jacket to insulate you. I better find it because, see, um, even though I'm in Rwanda, in Africa, um, you have people from, people could weaponize things. And I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. And uh, have a feeling that if, if, if these things are being released now, mosquitoes in, I mean, the weather is now getting cool in the northeast, and they generally not out at that time. But that they might try to push viruses, okay, people? They might try to promote uh, viruses out there to make you sick, okay? Yeah, so again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving out medical advice, but I'm just saying things that I've done in the past. You stock up on things to, you know, things for the cold or the flu. Hey, maybe like I like chicken soup. You can buy bone, like make bone broth. You can buy beef bones, and then you put in the freezer. And when you want to, make you feel, you think you feel like something's coming on you or something, make some beef stock soup. Yeah, beef broth. And you can put veggies in it, and the bone marrow of the soup will it's really nursing for the body. I find like you put some hot peppers in it, it gets sweated out. Again, I'm not giving medical advice, but something that I've done that feels so good. It really makes me feel good. Okay, and I have beef bones inside, and I'm here in Africa. And a pressure cooker, an electric pressure cooker. People, if you can afford a pressure cooker, get a pressure cooker so you can make soups, especially from the Northeast where I'm from originally. Get a pressure cooker so you can make soups and stews. Uh, and it's really nurturing for your body. And don't be shy with the pepper. It is really awesome. You get your Scotch peppers or I think jalapeno peppers to your food, and it's wonderful. You know, election time is coming nearer and nearer, and I would advise you guys. Uh, Stock up on right, like if you're not allergic to rice and beans, buy some dried rice and dried beans. You can cook at a later date. It's generally very inexpensive. It could last a long time in your cupboard. The dried beans and rice, as a survival food. Yeah, start to stock up on food. uh, yeah, I'm from New York City originally. I left about 9 months ago, and you have to compete now for food. I'm concerned about the presidential election coming up, and remember when there's a problem before, they were threatening the bus. What do you call it? The people who we call those 18-wheelers who bring in supplies. They were planning on boycott going into New York City. But New York City, everything has to be bussed in. And we don't grow our food in New York City. And so And plus, we have now migrants. We have over 200,000 migrants uh, with children, babies. There might be a shortage of supplies, people. Water, get drinking water. They might have a power outage or something like that. How are you going to get your water if you live in an apartment building? Get clean bottled water. Get clean bottled water. Get non-perishable foods. Stock up on that, okay, for your protection. And have like what they call like if you have to evacuate, have your passport, have your ID, have some cash on you in your home, because you may not be able to get access to your money, right, people? Right? You may not have access to your money. So get some cash when it's safe to do so. Oh, yes, and like in the month of November, that's when they do a lot of robberies because of the holiday season and they want to get things for their family, stuff like that. And they prey on people going to the ATM machines. Yeah, make sure you go with people and with a lot of people around. Avoid the ATMs if you can and just go to the teller. Be very discreet how you walk out. Don't have showing money, because now you have a lot of jobless people, hungry people, homeless people, and they are trying to navigate these migrants to this new culture, new way of life, and it can clash with the local population. So be careful, people. Be careful about your health. Stay healthy and everything. And yes, there's so many different cultures and the ways that people do things, but is it for your edification? you know and so far, this we have nature around us, like the beach. There are people who will do anything to have beachfront property, and you're not taking advantage of it because you're afraid to get dark, you're afraid of your hair to get curly, and it's foolish, and it's ruining your health. The Black American population, we are the fattest and the sickest community as a general rule. But the group that does the worst, even with this, is the Pima Indians, but they are small, small, small demographics, very small demographic. But the main population group, Black America, is the sickest, fattest, unhealthiest. And you have to say no to destruction, say no to self-hate. Stop hating yourself and start loving yourself, and start building up a community. Start enjoying nature with your family. Start talking to your family. Okay? Yeah, I just felt I needed to share this. And because the times are coming very near, people, that there's going to be a shift. I feel it. And that's also why I left. I knew I was in danger, and I was in danger. And when I feel danger, I just feel like running, getting away. I'm very fortunate. I left New York City, where I lived. It was very dangerous. Yeah, have an escape route. You're from the Northeast, have some place where you can go. Have arranged ahead of time. You got young children or teenagers, have arranged ahead of time where you're gonna stay. Instruct them, because let's say they can't get back home. So you say, uh, you're not permitted to go back in city or wherever, but you say, okay, we'll meet up at a certain time. The main thing, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you make your decisions about your safety. Wherever where it's safe for your children to stay, have them stay there. Have them stay wherever where it's safe for them, have them stay there. And when things calm down, make a decision where you want to meet when things get calmer. Okay? Yeah, yeah, because you don't want to get into danger. It's oh, let me go back in the apartment, whatever. How and it's a disaster. It's rioting. Stay away from danger. Stay away. Stay away. Have some extra cash. Have some maybe candy bars. It's like a quick food for you, you know, until you can get something more permanent. And even here, I want to stock up on some food. I did some shopping the other day just to make myself more comfortable. But I feel what happens in America, it things have a trickle down effect, and it can affect Africa. It can affect Europe, Asia. So I uh, I want to stock up on like things like rice. I bought some beans, but I want to stock up just a little more. Um, and I think I should get some bottled water. Yeah, I think I want to get more bottled water, and I want to get something for alternative cooking. Like they have thing like it's a wood stove. It's like a, you could put one pot on top of it. It has a little compartment inside, and you could put like wood or coal in it, and then you try to light a fire. Okay, I think I should get one of that. If I can't cook my food, let's say I want to make rice and beans, I have to be able to have something to cook on it, to cook it. Yeah, I have to do that. I've never used it. I never used one before. Um, but I think I should get several of them. And we'll see if I get it, I'll probably show it to you. It looks really makeshift. They look real flimsy. And if, again, something like that, you cannot use it indoors. You have to use it outdoors. When you're cooking with with a like wood or coal, it gives off this. I think it's called was it C ca- carbon monoxide. Yeah, you can carbon monoxide poisoning. It's a odorless gas. It makes you sleepy and then it kills you. It makes you fall asleep and you die. Okay? So if you're using something with gives off a fire, something, carbon monoxide will build up. So have very good um, ventilation. Have very good ventilation so that you don't get consumed with smoke and you can pass out quickly. And it can kill you. So yeah, I want to get on top of that too, people. Yeah, different things that I can't really say right now, but I um, I want to try to get myself ready for whatever what happens. If I need to move from here, I want to be able to do something smart. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have to really figure it all out. Okay. So, yeah, I've been on this video for a while, and those of you who are just coming on, I made mention in the beginning of the video of the vision that I had. In short, the vision I had this morning, I do my meditation, and in meditation, I saw a vision, and these men it looked like a card table, like you're playing cards, and on the top of the center of the table. It's like a table for four people. There was a weapon, a handgun, and I got scared, and I said, I don't want to see this anymore. I'm afraid of guns. And then the next thing I know, I was looked like I was outside, and I'm seeing from the ground level, and I'm seeing these legs it looked like a man's legs, had walking shoes or like sneakers or something like that, and they're walking uh, away from me, and I'm like following behind, and I'm at ground level, and then someone bent down and they took their forearm resting on the ground, and they had the arm gun facing at me. I said, well, I'm out of here. When I saw it was the barrel of a gun, I said, I opened my eyes to disconnect from what I was seeing. Yeah, I don't understand why I'm seeing these real candid type of situations. Um, I don't I when I see what I see, I I don't have control what I see. I just go with the flow, and I see what I see. So that was just a quick recap on the vision that I had, and I talked about try to combine different things about the surf culture and how it contrasts Black Americans who may live in a place where there's a beach, and how we are so disconnected from our environment that it could affect our livelihood, our health. We're afraid to go and get some sun because we don't want to get dark. We don't want to go in the water because they hear we get too kinky. And it's like you got to appreciate yourself, appreciate what makes you unique, appreciate what makes you unique anybody, as a Black person, white person, yellow, red. You are you. All that I'm saying is embrace the you, embrace yourself, and try to eat right. Okay. So that's all that I want to share. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I know this was a long video, but I think it was very essential. Um, so, tell your friends about it. If you can't listen to the whole thing, you could play it on fast forward or jump through different positions. But I think the very beginning with the vision thing and the last half hour would be very, very, I think, essential to your own personal enlightenment. Okay. Yeah. So I thank you again. Peace, love, joy, and harmony to you. Stay safe there in America and around the world. Do not believe the hype. Stay away from violence. Stay at home. Stock up where you can, and talk and communicate with your children, your loved ones. Okay.